Alright, what's up Yu-Gi-Oh players? We have an insanely overpowered card potentially that could actually maybe have some sort of like OTKs and a huge boost to a lot of like rogue or non-meta stuff. This card is going to be absolutely insane. I'm really curious to know your thoughts on this card once we get into it. We've got other like really interesting cards coming out of the game, kind of like Hand Trap. And then on top of that, some Union support. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the first card that we're going to talk about called the Dream Absorber. So it's a brand new level 200. It's going to be a water fairy effect, and how it works is you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first part is if your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard or banishment, you get to special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the effect was activated, or hand even if not, but you destroy it during the end phase. So that's like actually a huge downside to it. But each time your opponent activates a monster effect, it gains 1,000 attack immediately after it resolves. So, at first glance, you'd be like, okay, well, it dies anyways. It's like kind of useless. Well, it could actually block a lot of stats, and maybe you can combine it with some of your back row or your other monster effects to really make this card really good, and you can get some, you know, potential, like, not Mystic Walk, but there's probably another card, I don't know, Ectoplasm, there's probably other cards that can burn for the stats of the monster, but it's just whenever they activate an effect in the hand, graveyard, or banishment. That's a pretty, like, broad sort of things, and then you can get it to insane amount of attack. But the problem that I have with this is it doesn't necessarily protect itself with maybe just by battle, because it's going to have like, you know, 5,000 or more attack, so that could kind of protect itself in that sense. But the thing I don't like is it is destroyed during the end phase. So would that mean that you would then summon it on your turn, and then you would have another like level 2 that you can keep on going for? Now, another downside with this card, and it is a pretty big thing to be able to get it from the graveyard or banner. So like either way, this card's always just going to come back. I wish that you could use the first effect of it more than once per turn, because if I can get like triple of these out, I could just use it as, you know, stepping stones for links or whatever combos, because my opponent kept on going for cards or whatever the case may be. But maybe getting out triple would be too OP. But at the end of the day, do you guys think this will see any play for a hand trap, kind of as, I don't know, pseudo hand trap, because it kind of has that same sort of effect, but you only special summon it from your graveyard. So if it gets banished, then I guess kind of rip. But again, wherever it's going, you know, as far as the effect, it's a pretty easy summon condition. But curious to know your guys' thoughts on it. I would say it's probably going to be a skip, but maybe we'll have some sort of niche use. Next up, though, we have some Union support with Union Pilot. This is a level 5 Light Machine Union effect monster, 21 attack, 1,000 defense points, and it says that you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first part is, once per turn, you can target an effect monster you control, equip it to that target, or unequip this card and special summon it. If the equipped monster will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you destroy it instead. And then you can return this equipped card to the hand and equip one banished Union monster to an appropriate monster you control, as if it were equipped by that Union monster's effect. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. I think it's a pretty solid card overall for the Union stuff. We got the VWX, like ABC, like Dragon Cannon stuff, and maybe you can use it in the Buster Dragon stuff, but nonetheless, some Union support. And then next up, a very interesting card, Turu Hurun. So it is a level 2 Water Aqua effect monster, 450 attack and 500 defense points, and here's the artwork on this guy. And it says that you can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first part is, if it's in your hand, you can target a water monster in your main monster zone, destroy that monster you control, and if you do, special summon this card to the zone it was in, then you can destroy all opponent's face-up cards in this card's column. I like that effect, because that's like, you know, you can get rid of spells and traps, you can get rid of monsters, maybe getting like a 1-for-2 effect, and then let's say you happen to have a Dragoons or whatever card that would like activate. I'm talking about like Murma Atlanteans, but there's probably other newer stuff that you could maybe use too, but that was one of my favorites. So like having that effect of like, if this card is sent to the graveyard or whatever via a like water monster effect, it'll get some bonus, right? And then you're gonna pop cards. I like it. Kind of wish that this card had like another bonus effect, like a second effect, but like if it could become like a tuner or something, it would have even more play. Like once per turn, you can convert it to a tuner or something. Or if it's like, if you destroyed a monster, it would become a tuner. Or if not, you change the levels. I just think it's a pretty cool card though. Like I like these kind of weird sort of utility cards, and there probably will be some sort of play with this card for sure. I definitely think it has some awesome potential. And then I wish it was all cards, because then you could destroy your own back row, and then you could maybe do something with that. I just like kind of those like weird Yu-Gi-Oh cards that make people think. So I think it's really cool. And then next up we have a brand new fusion monster called the Protostar Dragon of the Void. So this is a level 8 light dragon fusion effect monster, 25 attack, 25 defense points, and it requires 1 light or dark dragon monster plus 1 dragon monster. It says that you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part says if this card is fusion summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of your light and dark monsters used for its material and destroy them. So mostly it'll be like at least 2, right? And then if this card becomes banished, you can target 1 level 4 or level 4 light or dark dragon monster you control, its level becomes 8. So I guess maybe you can go into other combos with this. I really wish it was just like level 4 or higher, just so you can get some of the other targets that would be related to maybe Chaos Dragons would be kind of cool. But I'm not sure what this is supposed to really fit as far as the archetype. But anyways, next up, this is the card that I think a lot of people will be talking about. It's probably going to be the next secret rare $100 card at the launch, and then it either stays there or goes to 2 cents and no one ever plays it again. So this card is getting a lot of hype in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. I'm curious to know your thoughts on it. So it's called the End Exalting Morganite, and it is actually pretty insane. So it's a normal spell card that says apply these effects for the rest of the entire duel, okay? So you can't activate monster effects, just like the other Morganite card. And we'll go over the other effect, because you can search it, which is crazy. Each of your monsters can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, which is insanely busted for some archetypes, but it gets even better. If your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicted to your opponent is then doubled. So what this means is one of my favorite things to do is you slap a Honest on a BLS, and then any battle damage is going to be doubled. So that basically means a BLS Honest is like, well, I mean, that's pretty much a game in most circumstances anyways, and then it can make a second attack anyways, and then you can activate BLS effect. This is going to be spicy for some good content. I'm really excited about not only OTKs, but on top of that, it's still not done. You're going to banish this card from your graveyard to add a Morganite card from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. So you get to search out the other Morganite card, which is like perfect because it also has this downside, which is not even a downside because you already used this. So to go over the effect of the other Morganite really quick, the other effect of Time Tearing Morganite, which means we're probably going to get more. This card effect is pretty insane. So you can't activate monster effects in the hand, so it doesn't matter. You literally search this card for free off the other one. And if you draw other ones of the copy, well, you just shuffle the other card back, right? So you draw 2 cards instead of your normal draw phase. So you're basically running 6 of these, right? And it says you can also conduct 2 normal summons or set per turn, not just 1. Then on top of that, you can banish the card from your graveyard, then discard 1 Time Tearing Morganite. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects when you normal summon this turn. That other effect, it's like whatever. But the main thing is you're drawing 2 per turn, but you can't use hand traps. So at the end of the day, for this card, I mean, you can literally still run hand traps, activate your hand traps, and then just use this card after, right? Because it doesn't say, like, you can't activate monster effects, you know, you couldn't have activated them before. So if you just draw hand traps, you go second, you still use them, and then you just slap this card later, and just, I'm good, right? So I like that ability since it doesn't really, like, hinder you, because both the effects, if the other ones had monster effects in the graveyard, then we would be, like, really in some sort of niche anti-meta-ish thing. But I think this card is quite good, and I was actually thinking that, like, whoa, okay, so my monster battles, I could just double all the battle damage. There's already cards that exist with that kind of thing. And what I think is really crazy, it just says if it just battles any monster, that means you could do so much with this. It's not just like, oh, it's a cheesy thing where you can attack twice. I'm not even looking at this effect, which this effect's cool, whatever. Lots of decks can already OTK. But if there's any sort of like monster effect where like you get to do like more damage, or you run like a Sirocco, what is it? Is it Shura? The Blackwings, right? Like, I don't know if any of you guys remember Blackwing absorbed like 1-shot, right? You could do that. You could just like Blackwing 1-shot, drop the Kalu, all the battle damage is just, this is for the rest of the entire duel, not just this turn. Like, that is pretty big. And then I was thinking, like, you could even run some of the old stuff. Now, this is getting, like, kind of old school with Yu-Gi-Oh! Daigusto? Wait, I forgot to spell right. Daigusto. So, if you guys remember the Daigusto archetype, one of them. Is it this one? Oh, okay, so if you guys don't know... Oh, it was just called Gusto. Okay, this was the archetype. Okay, so all of these are basically floaters. If you guys don't know what a floater is, you destroy the monster to bring out another one, okay? And then eventually all you do, and it's really easy in this deck. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I probably have gameplay of this like 10 years ago. But nonetheless, how I remember the archetype works is all these, again, they float into other things. And then you just make this card over here, Daigusto's Freeze, and then this card cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponent takes all of the battle damage. So you just crash your monsters in, and again, this card is super easy to make, and since most of the cards, if your opponent negates and destroy it, you just bring out another one. So they can't even really stop you in a lot of circumstances, unless, of course, they're just like negating and destroying but then you just bring out another one. But again, if they maybe skill drain, okay, that's a card. But is that okay? Set 3 in the TCG. Okay, I had to double check on that one. But like, okay, with the exception of maybe skill drain. Wait, but you'd still get the effect of them being destroyed set at the graveyard. Okay, at the end of the day, Daigustos, money. Okay, Gustos, or any other archetype. There are a lot of other things where like if you have the ability to do, again, more damage to your opponent. Because it is doubled, you can even do something as simple as like a Chaos Max. Does that one already double? I think this one already doubles. Okay, if it detects, you're gonna do double piercing, but then you also get to, wait, that's different, right? Because it's double piercing and then just double, I don't know, does that like stack? Can I just book a moon and then just like, I mean, I don't know. Either way, I think this card has a lot of potential, considering not only is the effect already pretty good, just for like, okay, well, I get to do double battle damage, and then I can attack double, and this obviously doesn't really matter. And then this part of the effect where you're going to place one on the bottom, again, if you have like a bad card or whatever, but you could literally search out the other card, and then you run, there's only, oh, is there another Morgan? Oh, it's Morgan, not Morganite. So we're probably gonna get more of these, but considering this one searches out everything, this has easily huge potential to be very good. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. Is this the new meta $100 card that everyone's gonna be at least trying out? What are your thoughts on it? Because it's gonna be mixed reviews in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, but I think it is just one short, like, little combo or one archetype away from just being, like, absolutely gods here. And like I said, with the TCG, I almost guarantee you, if it's a secret rare, it'll be $100 at the launch, and then it either stays at 100 and goes up, like it's gonna be solid, or it's gonna be like a $2 secret rare and no one's gonna care about it. There's no in between with this card, and the Yu-Gi-Oh community is all over the place with this. I've seen kind of mixed reviews, but curious to know your thoughts down below. Anyways, that's gonna wrap things up. If you guys want to see gameplay, I'm guaranteeing we're gonna do some really cheeky stuff with this Honest BLS. You could do Black Wings, like it's gonna do a lot of OTKs. Anyways, if you want to see it, subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you next one. Peace.